Okay, time to further the comparison between the matrix stones and the Venev Orions. Full disclosure though, I do make the matrix stones, so keep that in mind, but I'm being honest about everything. Um, First thing, the knife I'm sharpening today is Maxamet. This is my go-to knife, but all I really cut up is cardboard and shrink wrap and tape off of aluminum bars, so it doesn't see too much use, but cardboard's quite abrasive. Haven't sharpened this knife in just over 2 years. Not so much that it hasn't needed it, but I've just been too busy, honestly. Been working like mad trying to improve the shop, which I bought a new CNC machine last year, and that took a lot of work. Anyway, I've got a little mark on the blade. That's where I'll be taking the photos. I will sharpen this side of the blade last, so any burrs should be rolling over. Since the last video, I made some of these little holders to hold the knife at the proper angle for the microscope. That way the bevel is perpendicular to the lens. Hopefully, in that way it keeps the whole bevel in focus instead of just one little part of it. I made 3 of them, 15 degrees, 17 and a half, and 20. Just glued a magnet in there and then glued the angled block onto a flat piece. Just use red Loctite for the glue. Anyway, first thing we want to do is, let's see how dull the knife is. And we'll check it right where I take the photos. Huh. Well, let's see, that's 200 points higher than the last time I measured it. Because, hey, this isn't the first try at doing this video. And with these best testers, you're supposed to use 100 grams of weight. Properly test them. This weight is right at 100 grams. Tension is very important. Yeah, that is bizarre, isn't it? I'm going to test it again. That is what I got the first time, was right at just under 500. I think it's 493. And I know the tension didn't change. I think some of the problem might be this rubber base on this thing. If you don't get it right centered, it could rub on the plate. That would make the force less, not more. Huh. I've been thinking of doing a video on these best testers, using different speeds and tensions, and because I know the speed at which you apply the knife to it can make a difference. Try that one more time. Oh well, maybe there's a spot right there. I don't know. Anyway, it's still... We'll mess with this later. Not too worried about apexing it, what with sharpening it twice with the 2 different stones. I'm more worried just how the different stones polish up the bevel. For now, at the end of this, I'll worry about getting it sharp. So being the 80 grit, That's looking pretty good. Here's what the blade looks like before I sharpen it. Pretty much all the wear is abrasive. There are a few little chips in it, but not much. It is Maxamet. For scale, the width of the blade in the image is about 45 thousandths of an inch. And then here's the 80 grits stones. I didn't go all the way to the apex with the Venev. I used it first. I'm just looking at more or less scratch patterns, depth of scratches. The Venev stone is just a little bit deeper scratches, a little coarser, slightly bigger diamonds it looks like. Not much difference though. I was kind of surprised to see this. So we'll start counting now. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Here's what the bevel looks like after the 80 micron stones. Scratch patterns are pretty similar, burring similar. By the way, I did sharpen both sides of the knife with the Venev stone and then both sides with the matrix stones. I just omitted parts of it in the video to make it a little shorter. Of something to note, on just above the matrix 250, you see a little divot in the apex. We're going to be watching that in the future images. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Again, scratch patterns look real similar, burring similar. I think the biggest difference here is the lighting. Okay, F2 400. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 13. The Venev certainly shows a bit more burring on this one, and while the scratch pattern looks coarser on the Venev, I think the lighting probably has more to do with it than anything. It was identical, but if you look at the angle of the apex along the top, they're not just the same. The light was on the left-hand side, so as the knife rotated to the left, it would pick it up better. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. One, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Sorry about the lighting on this one. I don't know what happened. Looks to me like the scratch patterns are almost identical on this, between these two stones. And as you'll notice, that little divot in the apex at the top is getting smaller. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. One, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, at least these two photos, the lighting looked the same, but if you'll notice the angle of the apex between the two photos is the same. So I think that's it. I'll have to try and keep a closer eye on that in the future. I would say this, if anything, the Venev looks a little coarser scratch pattern here, even though it's supposedly finer diamond. Burring looks pretty similar. Okay, so I finished up with the final stones. I had my sharpener set at 16.8 degrees. Now I'm going to just take another set of passes at 17 degrees to make sure I'm cleaning up the apex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Before I strop it, let's go ahead and see how sharp this is. I'm curious, just, I don't know if I've ever tested it with the final stone. Come on, grab that thing. Alrighty. Okay. And just to make sure it's not a fluke, we're going to test it twice. So 117. Okay. See what we can do with stropping. So this is a worn 1 micron. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Here's the bevel after the 1 micron strop. It's been a long time since I've added diamond to that strop. As you can see, it's still doing its job. And in hindsight, I'm pretty confident that I used way too many passes on it. Just live and learn. Now, after a 1 micron strop, not much different. Do that again. What the heck? Pretty consistent. And here's 0.1 micron. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. This one's got quite a bit more diamond on it, not as much metal. So what was that, 18? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I changed the lighting for this shot, but obviously overdid it because the scratches really are finer. But that strop was loaded with too much diamond, which will be shown in the best numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here we see that bare leather didn't do anything, which I think is to be expected for super steels. Maxamet's kind of the higher end of it. Anyway, if you see that little notch in the apex, it's still there after all this. It did cut phone book paper without catching it all, so catch it next time. I love that part, huh? Think you're making it sharper, the sharpener, and it's going the opposite direction. Try that one more time in a little bit different spot. Guess it's not a fluke.